It is frustrating to me, and it feels heartbreaking, to be honest, because we are impacted by this system as well. It's not a matter of who's impacted worse. We're impacted differently. We sit at the intersection of being Black and being women. Because if you listen to Stephen A. Smith and you find anything other than some absolute, pure, self-hating, little dick energy nonsense from that half-witted idiot basking in the non-existent rays of his own ignorance, it is sad to me that he even gets an audience of Black men. Why aren't Black men right now saying, Stephen A. Smith, we banning him, we not listening to his podcast, we're not watching his show anymore? That's what Black women do.
Meanwhile,
you want me canceled because I asked a question? Jasmine Crockett, how is that going to work for you and your constituency? You want to rally folks up to go against me? How about the brothers and sisters that I've helped in this industry? All of that gets shoved aside and dismissed because I asked Representative Crockett, how's that going to work for you?
Who gonna check me, boo?
What's up, everybody? It's your girl, Mika, and we're back for another Red Cup Talks because this is where truth, pop culture, and politics meet. All right, you guys, so I had to come on and talk about Stephen A. Smith and how he's going off about what Tiffany Cross and Angela Rye had to say about him on their podcast. Now, Stephen A. Smith is finding out the hard way that you can't say anything about the protected class of liberal women, especially liberal Black women. Now, Stephen A. decided to give a spirited rant in his opinion on Jasmine Crockett, who we call here Ratchet Crockett. And when the 92% got wind of what Stephen A. said, when I tell you they did not waste time going in on Stephen A., they didn't waste time going in on Stephen A. I want you to check out this clip from Tiffany Cross, who used to work for MSDNC 13, but got fired on her day off. I want you to listen to it and how she goes off on Stephen A. and what she even says about him, all because he had the nerve to question Ratchet Jasmine Crockett. Watch.
Jasmine Crockett chooses to express herself. I'm like, is that going to help your district in Texas? Aren't you there to find a way to get stuff done as opposed to just being an impediment to what Trump wants? How much work goes into that? I'm just going to go off about Trump, cuss him out every chance I get, say the most derogatory, incendiary things imaginable, and that's my day's work. That ain't work.
he's got to deal with Black woman issues.
Oh my God. It's frustrating, one, because anytime we speak on this, it's like we, man haters and all this, but I feel such confidence in Black men. I've never bought into the idea that all these Black men are voting for Trump. Like, they vote overwhelmingly Democrat. We're pretty much in line with each other. What you all are saying is no, they are, and the data shows that there have been inroads among Black men. I want to ask why, because it is frustrating to me, and it feels heartbreaking, to be honest, because we are impacted by this system as well. It's not a matter of who's impacted worse. We're impacted differently. We sit at the intersection of being Black and being women. And so when men are frustrated with this system, it feels like they fight us. And I would put Stephen A. Smith in that category too. I'm mad at y'all for having joy. I'm mad at y'all for having success. I'm mad at y'all for surpassing us on college campuses. And so it's a small sect of men that are so angry and hurt that they're willing to align with the people who oppress us. What am I getting wrong? Because if you listen to Stephen A. Smith and you find anything other than some absolute, pure, self-hating, little dick energy nonsense from that half-witted idiot basking in the non-existent rays of his own ignorance, it is sad to me that he even gets an audience of Black men. Why aren't Black men right now saying, Stephen A. Smith, we banning him, we not listening to his podcast, we're not watching his show anymore? That's what Black women do. We organize.
Yeah. All right, so you guys just saw that. You saw Tiffany Cross respond to Stephen A. Smith. And when I say, she literally just said that he had little d energy, all because he decided to critique a Black woman named Jasmine Crockett. You can't make this up. Who is allowed to check liberal women, especially liberal Black women? Because when they're out of line, it's okay. When they want to talk about anybody, it's okay, especially conservatives, because conservative Black women are on the chopping block all the time. Liberal Black women talk about Candace Owens all the time. liberal black women talk about Condoleezza Rice all the time. There are so many people that are on the conservative side that they get to talk about. But if you are a man or a woman and want to talk about liberal black women, the victimhood comes right on in. Because none of the things that apply to liberal black women ever applies on the conservative side. And that's where the hypocrisy lies. And that's why nobody cares. Now, continuing on, Stephen A. Smith got wind of this. And when I tell you today, he decided to go scorch earth. He decided to go scorch earth and give them a piece of his mind. Stephen A. finally got a taste of what black conservatives and other conservatives of color face all the time when dealing with liberals, especially liberal women, especially liberal black women, because you can't tell them anything. Everything is a problem. Everything is an issue. However, I want you to see the response that Stephen A. gave to Tiffany Cross, saying that he had little D energy, and even responding to other black people like D.L. Hughley, like Willie D, Roland Martin, and Tamika Mallory of BLM. You can't make it up. I want you to see what Stephen A. Smith had to say in response. Watch.
I've invited Jasmine Crockett. I have nothing but respect for her. I just disagree on what she's making headlines for because I think it's counterproductive to the ultimate goal. But yet, here we are. And the word disrespect comes in and people try to engage with words, like disrespect and implying misogyny and all of this other nonsense. Stop it. Stop it. Can we be grown-ups and deal with what the real issue is involving what I said? Willie D, Roland Martin, Bakari Sellers, and Angela Rye, who I have profound respect for. I mean, the list goes on and on with all of these people. I don't have their names in front of me to my producer that texted it to me. I don't have my phone on me right now. So I apologize for not having those names in front of me. But I'm what are we talking about? How's it disrespectful to say what I said? Could you just disagree? Could we just say, yo, Stephen A., I disagree with you. Here's why. We got Willie D. Put up that quote, please. He's putting out quotes or text or tweets about me. Let's see that again. Stephen A. Smith taking shots at Jasmine Crockett ain't just messy, it's weak. Dude is sitting on one of the biggest mics in America, and instead of using it to uplift, he's tearing down a black woman who's out here putting in real work. That ain't critique, that's betrayal. Jasmine Crockett ain't the problem. She's the kind of woman who walks into rooms full of snakes and makes the snakes flinch. Meanwhile, Stephen's showing what happens when the paycheck gets louder than the principal. That's sucker shit, straight up, end quote. Wow, Willie D. You sure are uplifting. I mean, I got to be touched. That was inspirational. Really, that really, really was. That was inspirational. I'm doing sucker shit. That's what you call inspirational? That's what you call uplifting? Really? Now, I haven't heard everything that Roland Martin said, D.L. Hughley had to say, and all the other names that I mentioned, but I'm sure it's along the same lines. None but respect. First of all, I'm going to be very, very careful about anything that I say about Roland Martin because he's a friend. I'm going to be careful about anything that I say about D.L. Hughley because I have respect for that man. We've spoken a few months ago. I got nothing but love for him. I am concerned about him not making people laugh and smile as much anymore as he used to because he's more of an activist now than a comedian, but that's a choice and that's his right, and nothing but love for him and respect. And anybody else too. My issue with Bakari Sellers is how he talked about me without ever speaking out or reaching out because you don't like a position that I took before or whatever, but you want to come on and sell your book after. See, I don't play that nonsense. I don't like that. Disagree with what I said. Say why without all the other nonsense.
See, what Stephen A. Smith hasn't figured out is liberals do not care about whether they lie or not. Liberals do not care about whether they represent the facts or not. All they care about is canceling you. Stephen A. Smith, they want your head because you dare to go above and beyond to ask a question about what a Democrat is actually going to do, especially a black Democrat, especially a black woman. You no longer can ask any question that would have a politician having to answer hard questions. Because if it's hard, you're just trying to make it hard because you are racist and you're a misogynist on top of that. You can't make it up. And Stephen A. Smith, they are accusing you of being a black male who is a misogynist. You align with white supremacy. You are the right hand of white supremacy, even though you voted for Kamala. All right, so you heard Stephen A. address Tamika Mallory. You heard him address Tiffany Cross and Angela Rye, everybody that had something to say. Roland Martin, I don't know why Roland has something to say, but Roland Martin and others who had something to say about what he said about Jasmine Crockett. Now, I want to get into him explaining why he said what he said, and I want to get into the clips that he used. When I tell you it's diabolical, it's diabolical. Watch.
What am I talking about? To my producers, could y'all play the clip when she's talking about the president as an enemy of the United States? Could you play that, please?
Your reaction to his appointment?
He needs to go. I mean, this is very simple. We right now have a white supremacist that is sitting in the White House. He is backed up by other white supremacists. And if you really want to know who the criminals are in this country, you can Google it. You don't have to trust me. But the people that commit 80% of the most violent crimes in this country are white supremacists. Yet for whatever reason, they sit and they serve at the pleasure of the president. They are the ones that were there on January 6th, tearing our democracy down physically. And now we have them tearing us down right here from within. Here is the problem.
Of course, Congresswoman, to interrupt you, but President Trump, of course, has denied any allegations to the white supremacists, and that's why he apparently fired what he. I know your point, but he did fire Darren Beatty in reaction. They believe, in part, to his attendance at that conference. Does that change your opinion in any way?
No, it doesn't change my opinion.
So that's the first clip.
Okay.
There's a president of the United States that you're calling a white supremacist, and you're saying that the people who work under him are that as well.
That's a fact. That's what she's saying.
While you're in the government needing assistance from that administration to get things done for your constituency and beyond. Okay, that's clip number one. Play clip number two, please. A full-fledged criminal. Play that, please.
Not our democracy. Well, he did say he'd be a dictator on day one. Oh, Democrats, you know, it's just Trump. He just talks. Well, let me tell you something. He is doing more than talking. We talked about Project 2025. We talked about the consolidation of power. We talked about how he wanted to be a king. We talked about in a democratic republic, that is not what it is. We have some sort of checks and balances, and he is doing everything that he can to get rid of those checks and balances. The DOJ and the people that he's going after were simply doing their jobs. The problem is that Americans thought that it was okay to take a full-fledged criminal and make him the president of the United States, and then they want to act aghast when he does criminal things. Let me tell you, we have a thug in charge of the United States, and if we don't wake up, we may not have a United States, because right now he has only been successful in being a divider in chief.
So you care about facts, meaning the Democrats and the Republicans don't. Okay. That's another clip. And by the way, full-fledged criminal and thug. Those were words.
Yeah.
How about this one where she called the president a piece of shit? Play it.
Because the Supreme Court has paved the way for half the stuff that we see that's going on. Listen, Donald Trump is a piece of shit. Okay, we know that. Yes, yes. He is. He is. He is.
Donald Trump is a piece of shit. That's what she said. That's the third one. There's another one here where she's talking about how the GOP doesn't care about facts, but the Democrats do. You just heard that. There was also another one where she called them again a white supremacist. But it didn't just stop there. She went to her own governor of the state of Texas, who's in a wheelchair, by the way. Keep that in mind. And listen to what she said about him.
We in these hot ass Texas streets, honey. Y'all know we got Governor Hot Wheels down there. Come on now. And the only thing hot about him is that he is a hot ass mess, honey. So yes.
Governor Hot Wheels. And the only thing that is hot about him is that he's a hot ass mess.
I think Stephen A is having an aha moment. And the aha moment that he's having is that Ratchet Crockett is ratchet. All this she's accomplished, all this she has all these degrees, all this she could be a judge, but she's not. She doesn't know how to play the game for her constituents, okay? She cannot reach across the aisle, which is why she has no bills. She doesn't sponsor anything. She has no legislation. What is she there for? A free check, which is what we're giving her. Stephen A also hasn't figured out that liberals do not do any good legislation. They talk a good game. They talk a lot. As you can see, Ratchet Crockett talks hell of a lot. However, she never delivers.
And that's going to serve 750,000 constituency in the 30th District of Texas.
Yep, they voted for it.
That is what I was saying. Never mind what she feels. Never mind whatever level of justification you may have towards feeling the way that you feel. When you're in her position, that's not going to get you anywhere. That's what I was saying.
They don't care?
What I was saying was this educated, brilliant black woman representing over 750,000 people is engaging in verbiage and rhetoric for the streets. And that's fine when you're in the streets. How many of y'all bring the streets to the table when you're at the negotiating table trying to get a deal done?
They never been.
How many of you are able to think that for a second that you're able to bring street verbiage to Capitol Hill and that's going to work for you? You literally have senators and congressional figures on Capitol Hill on the side of the Republicans telling the networks, whether it's Fox News, News Nation, or anybody else, please, please, please put her front and center on camera.
Operation Let Her Talk.
Why would they do that? Because they know it wins for them.
Yeah.
And what I was saying was, I appreciate her passion, her intellect, the fact that her heart and her willingness to be courageous and all of those things are in the right place. But my God, isn't it about winning too?
No.
Ain't it about getting it done?
No.
And listen, I voted for Kamala Harris.
Oh, God.
And I voted for her because I said, even though I wasn't fond of her as a candidate, I certainly thought that she would be more willing to work across the aisle and work with more congressional and Senate representatives than he would.
How'd that work out for you?
I certainly felt like we wouldn't be hearing words like authoritarianism and dictators and stuff like that. I knew that. But when you talk about we're honest, they're not. Were you honest when you chose Hillary and you shoved aside Bernie Sanders as a party?
Ooh.
Were you honest when you chose Biden and you shoved aside everybody else because it was his turn? Were you honest when you bypassed a primary and made sure to ensure that Kamala Harris was the Democratic nominee for the presidency of the United States when all of you knew, all of you, you knew that Biden was finished. You knew he had no business staying in the presidency. You knew that you could have influenced things in a way that would have forced him out. We would have had a primary and the best candidate for the job would have been running against Trump this past, last November. You knew that. But like 2016, like 2020, as was the case in 2024, and unlike the Republicans, the conservatives, the elite chose our candidate. The people were bypassed on the Democratic side of the aisle.
And Stephen A. Smith told no lies, okay? The Democratic Party absolutely knew that Joe Biden had no business being president, okay? And they absolutely knew what they were doing when they inserted Kamala, okay? The elite said that they wanted Kamala in there because Kamala is not doing anything. Kamala is not going to push back. Kamala is going to do what they want her to do, just like Sleepy Joe, okay, or the auto pen. But yeah, just like that, they knew that she would do it because she is an elite puppet, just like the rest of them, Barack Obama included. She may not be asleep, but she might as well be because she was in the basement, in Jamaica, everywhere but the Oval Office. And my God, she only had one job and she didn't do that, okay? We've been to the border. You have not been to the border. And I have not been to Europe. And you have not done your job at all, okay? We have millions of people over here because they just ran across the border because you, the border czar, did not do your job. Now, Tom Homan has to chase them all over Chicago dealing with Mayor Mohawk, all because people like Kamala and Joe Biden were irresponsible and just pretty much incompetent. All right, so you guys just saw that. So Stephen A. Smith is finding out the hard way that you cannot criticize a liberal black woman. They are a protected class amongst the liberal elite. Then you have Tiffany Cross, okay? That woman doesn't know politics at all. She speaks from emotion all the time. She never has any facts. She just blabs her mouth, okay? Right alongside of two men, okay? Well, one suspected, but two men, okay? Two men sitting there saying that she's correct when they know she isn't. Those are the men that stroll to the polls. Those are the men that have absolutely no backbone when it comes to politics, when it comes to doing what's best for your community. This is why the community at large looks the way it does. Because on the liberal side, there are no men to stand up and say, sit down because you are incorrect. Sit down because you do not understand that voting this way has gotten us anything. And you keep doing it. And the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. That is where the 92% is, okay? And the men that strode to the polls right behind them, they are there too, because they refuse to stand up against the tyranny of what is the liberal left, what is the liberal woman, and what is liberal black women who decide that if you go against them, then you are against black people, you are against progression, and you are a misogynist and male identified and anything else they can think of. Stephen A's commentary on Jasmine Crockett is spot on. He did not miss, and he was absolutely correct with everything he said about her. However, sir, you are a liberal and you can't say what you should be saying because that's how they roll. They want to silence you. The feminists, the feminazis talk about everybody else being a Nazi except for them. They will cancel you if you let them, because at the end of the day, you can't check them. Nobody can. And this is why they're in the same predicament. But I could be wrong. So you guys get down in the comments, like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know what you think about all this crazy nonsense with Stephen A. Smith, Jasmine Crockett, Tiffany Cross, Angela Rye, all the liberal women, okay, just sitting around talking about Stephen A. trying to get him canceled, okay, Tamika Mallory, and then all the feminazi simps who come behind him, you know, like Willie D, Andrew Gilliam, Bakari Sellers. You know, he has bald-headed reasoning. He's always on that TDS show with Abby. But anyway, this is what they're doing. So you guys get down in the comments, like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know what you think about it. All right? It's your girl, Mika, and I'm out. Peace.